Here we go. Full time, Newcastle 1, Aston Villa 1. Before I invite the people back in, I mean, I should be happy with a point. 4 points out of the last 2 games. Yeah, I should be happy, but at the same time, I cannot think that that's 2 points dropped. I mean, it is. It's 2 points dropped. I mean, we was all over them for the majority of the game. Yes, Aston Villa had a better first half overall, but in the second half, ASM was dominating. We went 1-0 up through Gayle, and then we just let him come back into the game. They need that point more than us. I'm going to invite Fumby in to get his opinion on it, but overall for me, that is just 2 points drop, man. Fumby, what's saying?
Yo, just had a freaking episode of the
on, man? I was just having a little rant before you got in. I was just saying that's 2 points drop for me, I must say. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I don't think we played well, to be honest with you. I don't think we played well enough. I think we were too... Second half, we were getting onto them. But after the goal, we just sat back. We just didn't do anything. I just don't understand how... I don't understand how we got one. I don't understand how that was 1-1. I really don't.
Neither do I, man. Positive Pete, what you saying, man?
Frustrated. As I said yesterday, we should be beating them. We should be beating Villa, and we got the goal. We didn't play. But as I said, Villa games are always tight. They're always tight. Apart from the 6-0 a number of years ago, there's never really been much in the games. There have either been draws or narrow wins. And I thought by his getting the goal, having not played well, I thought defensively would have the ability to hold them off and just kind of keep the ball and sort of run them down, really. But we invited too much pressure on. We had to remember that they were, they had to go for it. You could tell in the first half, they had to go for the game. They had to go for the 3 points. So you knew they were going to come out all guns blazing to try and get something from the game. And it's at that point the way we need to be a little bit smarter. And we weren't. We kept giving them corners. We kept giving them free kicks. And with Conor O'Harain, whose delivery is fantastic, he proved that in the game at Villa Park. You're always going to fight pressure. It was a poor goal. Dubravka and Shelby should have done better. Really, really poor goal to concede. But if we'd have been offered 4 points from these 2 games before we restarted, I'd have snap your hand off.
I mean, there are some positives to take from it. Obviously, Dwight Gayle getting on the score sheet. It's been a while since he played. Obviously, bar lockdown. Obviously, he played in the Southampton game, but previous to that, he wasn't really getting a look in because he was persistent with Joe Linton. Joe Linton had an all right game. Obviously, we're not expecting him to score every single game because we're used to his standards, but the positives from that is obviously ASM, again, magic. I'm not hearing a bad word said about him. I'm sorry. I think he's best suited on the right wing as well. I don't know. Any other positives, you guys, from B? What are you saying?
I thought we were good defensively, like in terms of we're good. They huffed and puffed, but we were cool. We're clearing balls. Mankilo was good. Rose was solid. So we weren't being opened up. We let them have a lot of possession, but we weren't being turned over. But I just feel like we were too. We just allowed them to do too much. We didn't get in their faces enough, and just beat the faith out of them. Douglas Luiz was on a yellow. Just make sure he gets that second yellow. Go at them. Really put them on the back foot. We just allowed them to come back into the game in spells when they needed to. They finished the game so strong. I was like, we need to whistle now.
Yeah, we was literally on the ropes. I felt like had the game gone on like an extra 5 minutes or so, I felt like we was going to concede. There was getting corners, there was getting free kicks in dangerous areas. I just felt like we was hanging on for dear life. It felt like, Pete, that we was kind of tired. We looked a bit lethargic, don't you think?
I was saying to myself, this is one of them games where we need a second goal. Otherwise, I see a 1-1. And just as I said that, they scored.
Yeah. It's what, 2 games in 3 days. That's what it does to you. And I actually think if we'd have got the second goal, I think Saint-Maximin would have gone off. I think he would have rested certain players. the positives I take out of the game is Danny Rose had his best game since he signed for us. I thought he was really, really, really good. And I think the key to that is having Richie on the left-hand side. Him and Richie already have an understanding, and they look good. They have an understanding, their movement, their passing, when to run, when to drop. They're really good there. Isaac Hayden, I thought, was fantastic. Isaac Hayden was the reason why Jack Grealish wasn't in the game at all until he went off. Until Hayden went off, and I hope it's not anything serious. I hope it's just a precaution. But once he went off and Shelby took on that role of sort of man marking him, that's when he came into the game, because Shelby in that last 7-8 minutes was literally sitting on the centre backs. He wasn't coming and pressing the ball as he was against Sheffield United. He was sitting deeper and deeper, and the team got deeper and deeper, and we're having to resort to long balls when we didn't need to. There was offers in the middle of the park, out wide, but we just kept going long. We just kept giving them the ball back. They got more possession, and they got us further up the pitch. So we gave it to them, really.
Just going to read out some comments quickly. Jonathan says, evening, lads. Andrew says, evening, lads. Then Andrew says again, not a bad point, to be fair. Always thought that it's going to be a tougher game than Sheffield. Yeah, I agree. Jonathan says, it's a decent point, but it was a terrible performance. I agree. Aaron, shout out to my boy Aaron. He says, sorry, brother. Basically, Aaron, I know from my time in Manchester, he was actually betting for a draw, and it came true. So happy for you, you got your money, but not happy for us. Marvin, shout out to Marvin. In hindsight, we should have rotated a few players to refreshen it up. That's what we were saying the other day, in fact, yesterday. And then Jonathan says again, we looked very leggy in the second half. We were getting overrun in midfields. Thoughts on any of those comments, guys?
My thing is, the first half we should have scored with Almiron. Like, why would you take a second touch? I have no idea. Just bury it. At that point, we were playing really good football. In terms of being leggy in the second half, I agree. We did look tired. I don't think we should have changed the formation, because I actually think you got to stick with a winning run, because we got City on Sunday, so you need to know who's balling, you know? So I'm glad he stayed with the formation. What I'm disappointed in is we kind of just allowed Villa to overexpress themselves. You know, when a man comes to your house, he's in your kitchen, he's putting his feet on your couch, you're like, bro, you know, we just allowed them to express themselves too much.
Do you think that we made the right changes, Pete?
I don't have an issue with the changes, but I probably would have done it at different times. So I would have brought Lazaro on a little bit earlier. In the build-up, Richie had a tight hamstring coming into the game with Sheffield United, and that's fine if they're going to start him. But I wouldn't have given him as long as he did, and it looked like he was injured when he came off. And I hope again that's nothing serious. So I would have brought Lazaro on around the 60-minute mark, like he did with Carroll. I would have brought him on at the same time. So yeah, there's a few changes. It was a surprise to take Richie off and put Gayle on. It was nice. It was a nice surprise. Obviously, and he got the goal. Fair play to him. But yeah, I mean, I personally, I think he'll make changes for Sunday. Personally, I think he'll make changes for Sunday. And he'll.
Do you think that worked, though, Pete? Do you think that worked? The Andy Carroll Gayle thing, because I don't think we got to see enough of it. We got the goal. We're like, okay, yeah, and then I didn't see anything else.
No, because I think once we got the goal, it was a case of shut up shop. If you really want to see that partnership, you're going to need to start that partnership.
Right.
So I personally think, you know, we didn't see enough of it because we got the goal quite early on. From sub, so we got the goal, and you could sense it in the players. We got the goal, bang. We dropped 10 yards as a team and just tried to shut up shop. And to be fair, there's times in the season where that's worked. But Villa had nothing to lose. They were going to throw the kitchen sink at it. So we had to be a little bit more smart with the ball. We weren't. We were playing long balls. We were having possession because Villa were giving us the ball, but we were then just going long as the easy option, or taking too long to pass it in midfield. And then what is that they were picking the ball up and getting possession back, and it was just it just kept happening, and that after a while will put pressure on you. There's only so many play. You've got to try and be smart and hold on to the ball. We did that against Sheffield United, albeit they had 10 men, but we just needed to be smarter with the ball.
I want to talk about some key moments in the match. The one in the first half, towards the end of the first half, obviously Douglas Luiz looked like he kind of headbutted, spat out, or whatever with Lascelles. Now, I put it out on Twitter as well. Like, I thought if you go to even headbutt, it doesn't have to be like a Glasgow kiss or whatever they call it, but anything in terms of moving your head forward, I thought you get sent off. That's what I was told, and that's what I was under the opinion. So I'm surprised he stayed on. What's your thoughts, guys?
I think you've been watching too much Drew McIntyre.
I'm showing my WWE side. Yeah.
The truth is, I know exactly.
You kind of lean in. I thought you get sent off.
To be fair, if you've been physical towards another person, it should really be a sending off and potentially a penalty. So you know, I'm surprised with that. But I mean, they gave it for aggressive behaviour. But if you're giving a yellow card for aggressive behaviour, isn't that some form of dissent? Shouldn't that then be some form of free kick, or if it's in the area, penalty, because it's in the build-up into a game? That if someone bangs into someone when they're in the build-up, there's penalties been given before for it. So I don't see any reason why it shouldn't have been. He's lucky that he missed Lascelles. If it had made proper contact with him, and I think that's probably why it was the yellow card. If it had made proper contact, it'd have been a straight red.
I thought it was handbags. I thought they were just being children in the box. But if you look at when he should have been booked, he kicked Miguel when he thought he'd been fouled, and he didn't foul him. So as Miguel was getting past him, he kicked him. That was a yellow. That was a straight yellow. Like, he kicked his heel out of frustration. So that should have been the yellow. And if then he did that in the box, then he'd have got a second yellow. So yeah, I do think that decision was a bit, nothing, because it was just too defensive. They were just trying to get Justin for position, right? Yeah. But I think the first one he should have got booked for.
Yeah.
Talking about another incident in the second half now, it fell to Miguel Almiron. Again, should he have tucked it away? I was a bit critical of him in the last game. He had an opportunity where he should have literally just put his foot through it, and he didn't. And then Richie went on to score literally a couple minutes later, showing him what he should have done. Do we need to see that kind of more ruthless side of Miggy? Because I know we all love him, and we appreciate what he offers to the team as a road runner. He runs around the pitch, but sometimes just be aggressive. Just take the ball and run with it and be ruthless with it. Is that what he's missing in his game?
Yeah, he's never had to do that at Atlanta United. He's never had to be that ruthless because they've dominated, and he's been able to play these little sort of tippy-tappy, these little curlers from far. And you have to be in the Premier League. You have to be ruthless. I think he knew as soon as he took that touch and then went for the shot, he knew straight away he should have hit it first time. And I think that was what Rose was frustrated about, the fact that he didn't hit it first time. But again, he's learning. I mean, he worked his socks off. He linked really well on the left-hand side today. He's just a menace, and he's so hard to pick up. But yeah, he should have done better with that. And I see it as part of his learning, his development. He's sort of been allowed to get away with two of those missed chances this season, and he has scored some goals, to be fair. But going into next season, he needs to start putting those chances away.
Going to move on to the Villa goal now. I only seen it, I think, once. I'm told that Dubravka was at fault. Was it poor goalkeeping? You guys might be able to fill me in a little bit more, but should Dubravka have done better?
I think it was one of them ones where the ball came at Shelvey. His clearance was poor. He didn't react quick. He didn't react quick enough. It comes off his leg, and by that time, it's 50-50. If Dubravka could get down quick enough, I guess so. But it's come at him in such a way. He just didn't react quick enough. He's not really cleared it. He's reacted to the ball, so it's come off his leg, and then it's gone under the goalkeeper. So I don't know. It's disappointing.
If you look at it again, just as it's coming towards Dubravka, Shelvey puts his foot out because he's protecting, obviously, that post. Yeah, I think that's the confusion. That's the confusion that makes it. If Shelvey doesn't put his foot out, Dubravka gets a clear view of the ball coming towards him. It was it was spinning. It was a bit not all over the place, but it wasn't just a straight ball coming towards him, because it's flicked off Elmohamady's head as he's tried to direct it towards goal. But the foot coming out is confused him for that split second, which has made the difference. So it's poor communication. If Shelby's gonna dangle a foot in that situation, he needs to get a bit of conviction. He needs to go with the conviction and clear the ball. Otherwise, he leaves it for the goalkeeper. And that's where the communication was sort of lacking, really. But it was at that position where we were giving too many set pieces away. Far too many set pieces. That was the only way they were going to score today. It was the only way. In normal play, they did not look like scoring a goal at all. They were putting balls into the box. Dubravka was collecting. It wasn't really much danger. I thought Lascelles and Fernandez were clearing the ball really well. It was a set piece, and when Conor Hourihane come on, I thought, if we keep giving them set pieces, they're going to punish us, and they did. Look, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. It's another point towards that official safety, although I'm already convinced we're safe. But it's just so frustrating because you just want to beat Villa. You want to beat Villa. Every Newcastle fan.
We literally owed them one. We owed them one from earlier this season, man. Yeah. Like I was so happy when we went 1-0 up. I just felt like if we just held on, it would have been nice to have 6 points out of 2 games, and then we could have just gone into the Man City game. Obviously, it's a cup game, different, but I would have just felt more at ease, and we would have got to that 40 mark a little bit more at ease.
We could have won. We could have won 15-0 today. I still won't go easy on Sunday.
we could have been, we could have been looking at potentially top 10. I know.
I mean, come on, it's been a while.
At one point, with those 3 points, potentially we were in 10th position, above Arsenal, and it was we're at the dizzy heights of 10th position. We would have been then looking up because Palace at 9th on 42. We're only 3 points behind them now as it is. Look, it's not like I say, it's not the end of the world, but it's just frustrating because it's Villa and you want to beat Villa, you want to put them to the sword, and that's why I said I thought we'd win 2-3-1, but we did play well.
Right, let's move on to player ratings, guys. So starting with goalkeeper Dubravka, again had a quiet game up until the goal. Obviously, you guys explained it a little bit more to me, but for me, you can take Dubravka and then we'll move on to Pete. You can move on to the next one after that, yeah?
I think he was a 7.5. Again, he didn't have much to do. He did command the box well. It was, I feel Savage was blaming him for the goal, but I think like what Pete said, if you're going to put your foot out there, you've got to either blast that ball to the moon or just leave it for the keeper, and that throws him off. So I'm not going to be too harsh on him. 7.5 for today.
7.5. Okay. Moving on to Manquillo, Pete. How did Manquillo do at right back today?
1 second.
Oh.
I've just lost you. Am I back?
Yeah, you're back now. Yeah, we gave you Manquillo, mate. I thought you were trying to dodge him.
Yeah, I thought he did well. To be fair, today I thought he did better going forward than he did defensively. So I'd give him a solid 7. I thought, Grealish played a lot down his side because he thought he had the beating of him. And there was a couple of times that he did have the beating of him. He didn't look solid defensively, but he looked well. He looked solid going forward. So yeah.
Okay.
So I just wanted to say to Pete after I didn't see Sheffield United's chance against us in the last game where you said he didn't track his runner into the box well, and I noticed what you said. But today I think he made 2 headers where he tracked the defender into the box. I was really impressed with it because I was thinking last week he let that guy go in. This week he's probably seen that and said, like, I'm going to go into the box well. But yeah, I do agree at 7.
Yeah, it just lazy. It was just laziness. He just switched off for a second. It was Billy Sharp. Billy Sharp had come out deep, ball out wide, and actually he was in front of Billy Sharp and he was comfortable. But Billy Sharp's then made that run behind him and he's not looked back to see him. And that's the thing. He would have been told about that, and I think I think Dubravka told him after that chance on Sunday. He said, you know, you should have tracked him. So he would have known that today for sure.
Okay, Fumbi, Lascelles, how did Captain Lascelles do today?
7. That yellow card pissed me off because you didn't need to do that. You know what I mean? You didn't need to do that. 7, actually 7.5.
Don't you think Jack Grealish was away if he didn't pull him back?
Nah. It looked like he was away, but we would have had it covered.
Oh, you're confident, mate.
No, I thought we had it covered. I didn't think he was away like he's gonna burst into the box. I just think he turned because first of all, I don't know where Lascelles was going to even get out of place. Like he got turned so easy, I didn't understand it. But at times he ran with the ball, which I was very surprised. I was like, no, pass. But he actually ran with the ball, tried to make a few passes. So I give him a 7, 7.5.
Okay, Seb's in the chat now. We're doing player ratings, mate. I hope you can hear us. Yeah, no? Okay, maybe not.
We can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me?
No, can't hear Seb.
That's what I'm saying, Seb, we can't hear you. Okay, whilst Seb sorts his audio issues out, Pete, we'll move on to Fernandes, his defensive partner. How did he do?
I'd probably say the same, 7.5. Again, he had a needless yellow card where he dived in. I think it's on Davis on the left-hand side. Again, this was during the period where we were given too many set pieces, and it was unnecessary. He didn't need to go to ground. He's out wide on the left. He's not going anywhere. All he needs to do is jockey him, hold him up, make him play it backwards. He's done his job, get into the box and defend. It's not hard, but you know, it's one of them where he's just, you know, the tails are up and they're just wanting to kind of just get stuck in, and you just got to be smart. You've got to be a little bit smarter because Villa were playing for those set pieces. They knew it was the only way they were going to get back in the game. So a poor yellow card. However, defensively, he won everything in the air today. Him and Lascelles. So I can't really separate them. As a defensive pair, they were very good aerially, and they had a lot of balls to deal with into the box. So yeah, both of them 7.5 for Fernandes for sure.
Cool. Seb, you back with us now? Can you hear us?
Yeah, all good. Yeah, all good.
Cool. We're going through the player ratings. We've gone through 3 of the back 4 now, so we'll give you Danny Rose. What was your thoughts on Danny Rose's performance today?
Yeah, he had a solid first half. He got inside the opposition box quite often. He linked up well with, I think there was a chance. Do you remember where he squared it to Almiron in the box and he took a touch? I would say overall he had a solid game. Fitness-wise, it's probably not quite there, but I think he's pacing himself at the moment, just conditioning himself. Yeah, I think he didn't do too much wrong, to be fair. I didn't pay too much attention to him when he came to like marking the set pieces. But yeah, he kept his position well, got his chances to bomb on, and he linked up well with the wide man.
Cool. Pete, have you got any more to add to that? Because I thought Danny Rose was one of our better players today.
Yeah, I thought he played really well. I thought it was his best game he's played for us. I thought that's the Danny Rose that you want. I thought he was really, really smart. There was a couple of free kicks that he won back in our defensive position that just took the pressure off. Very much getting his body in front of the ball, but took the pressure off the defence. Won us the free kick and got us back up the pitch. I thought he showed his intelligence today, and I think his fitness is growing. And I think that's why his intelligence was coming into the game today, because I think he probably fitness-wise felt stronger down that left-hand side. And when you've got Richie, who's a machine, he runs up and down all day for you, that's going to protect your left-hand side, it gives you that little bit more confidence to know it and try and do things that you probably wouldn't necessarily do previously, certainly with ASM on that left-hand side, because you're worrying that you're going to get doubled up. That didn't happen today. I thought he linked well going forward. We're seeing him more in advanced attacking positions, like the chance with Almiron when he linked really well with him. And yeah, he looked more like the player that performed really well at Tottenham. I just hope that continues. We want to see that on a regular, and if we see that on a regular, then you don't mind paying that $5 million to make it a permanent deal, providing that he's not asking for stupid wages. Good to see.
Fumbi, I'm going to give you Isaac Hayden. Andrew says hopefully Hayden hasn't picked up an injury because obviously he had to come off the pitch. But overall, how did you assess Isaac Hayden's performance? Because everyone was saying he should be playing for England now in the last game. So, what are you saying?
I think he played well. He played very well. Like he did what he does. I'm pissed off when he has to work so hard. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's like we're not playing well then. Do you see what I'm saying? Like I don't like it when he has to stand out because we need to go forward. But man, I'm a big fan of Isaac, innit? I feel like he's first team, then we build around that. Like as long as he's comfortable in that mid, I'm cool. So I'll always give him like an 8. Like an 8, definitely an 8 today. But he had to work too hard because we just allowed Jack Grealish, yeah. He was so not out of the game, but more time when he would get like a shot off or like open up the space, he just couldn't find it because Hayden was always there. So I appreciate a lot of what he does because, bruh, without him, my goodness.
He's Mr. Cleanup, innit? He's the cleanup guy, innit?
Yeah, man, he just does it well.
He really seems to have matured into a really good player, Hayden, over the last couple of years. He seems to finally understand what his role is now in that midfield. I think he's been a little bit unsure, particularly in the championship season, of where his best position was or what his best role was in this team. And I really think he's starting to really mature now. He's 24, 25. He's coming into that period in his career where he's still got the best years ahead of him. And hopefully they're with us because you can see, and I don't want to talk about what could potentially happen with new owners and whatever, but you can see with quality midfielders around him and a creative team and an attacking team, having someone like Hayden that can sweep up and do that dirty work and stop the better players on opposition sides, he could really thrive in a good sort of top table team. And you just wish and hope that it's with us and that no one stops putting money down.
Pete, stop wishing him away because I know what's coming next. And no, he's not heading back to Arsenal, so cut it there. Hold on, one second. Shout out to Gary Nixon who's saying Hayden is crucial. Shout out to Andy as well. Back again. He says Hayden is the best player since Diame at closing players down, winning tackles. Going to come on to the next one with you, Pete. John Joe Shelby. Now, Fumbi was saying that Hayden had to work so hard today. With Hayden working so hard, that usually frees up Shelby to do what he needs to do. Did he step up to the plate today?
He wasn't as good as he was on Sunday. I think the thing that I noticed, particularly in the first half, is that, again, on Sunday, when we got the ball and Shelby found those positions, he was looking forward and he was looking to break those lines and he was looking to play those balls in and behind. But today, and it wasn't just him, the whole team did it, is that it was very much safety first. And rather than him taking those risk passes that we know and love him for, he never really tried them very often. He tried the cross-field passes, but they were very much simple passes where there weren't risk. It was just like where a guy was in acres of space that, you'd expect any player to play. And I just think that, he still found those spaces and he found those gaps in positions in midfield, but he never really punished Villa for allowing him to have those spaces. It was very much side to side or a little clip ball out wide. And you want him making those cutting edge passes that are going to split defenses. That's what you know him for, and that's why Hayden's there. Hayden's there to allow him to do that. And we're Bruce is giving him the confidence to allow him to take those risks. It's certainly more than Rafa did, and we didn't see that today. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen moving forward. He'll probably come out and pull out a masterclass on Sunday, we hope. But he certainly didn't do that today. For me, he was a 7.5. He was a 7.5. He didn't do anything that was really, really bad. Apart from the dropping off towards the end, but that could have been tiredness or whatever. But he never did those things that would have put him in the 8s or the 8.5s that he was in on Sunday.
Okay, Seb. Moving on to the three that was obviously sitting behind Joe Linton. Start with Richie. Had an absolute masterclass in my opinion on the weekend against Sheffield. Scored and assisted, but this game was a bit less in the game, to put it honestly. But
Well, what I would say is in the first half, when it was before he switched with ASM, he was cutting in, trying to look for Joe Linton to play those balls. So in the first half, he was getting into those spaces, and I think there was a point where I think before he switched wing, let me think, there was a position where I think we had the ball, and I think Manquillo was trying to overlap. They were doing tight 1-2s outside the opposition 18-yard box. They were getting those touches. He was in those positions. Shelby was overlapping him. But in terms of his actual way to deliver, I don't know, maybe the fact that he caught a knock last game, maybe you should have given him a rest and brought him on. But yeah, I suppose, I'll give him a 6.5.
Okay, from me, back in. So I'm going to give you Saint-Maximin, innit? Talk to me about Saint-Maximin. Talk to me about our king, man. Talk to him, because I'm thinking to myself, I've got to enjoy him while he's here, bro.
I got to give ASM a 10, straight because he balls out of control, man. Like there was one point, I think he did the 360 turn on the ball. Bro, I turned around. You ever been spun around in your own living room? I just turned around like, what happened? What? And then he plays the outside of the foot pass. I was like, this guy's taking the mick. And it's the thing, yeah. When you do that, there has to be a goal at the end. It's like, where are you, man? Are you watching this? Like, open up.
I know, but are people on the same wave? And that's the thing. That's what I'm getting frustrated at. I'm sure he gets frustrated as well.
You know what? Sometimes he went conservative on them. Sometimes he actually stopped to look for the pass. When I was like, just take everybody. Did you see when he took like 4 men on? Like he just went past 4 people and had to pull him back. And I'm just like, this guy's mad. But one of the people in the comments said, do you think we can keep him before the big teams come? The only way we can keep Maximum is if we get taken over. If we don't get taken over, actually selling him next season.
That's what I'm trying to tell to people. Like, we've got 1 or 2 people with him, enjoy him while he's here, because the way he's playing, he's basically playing as a one-man team, and 2, he's putting himself on notice. Like, second half, it was pretty much all him. He was like running the show. It got to the stage where he thought, I can't play these guys in. I've got to do it myself.
And he's bringing goals and assists to his game as well. He's started to bring in end product too.
Yeah. That's what we saw from him today. That's what we saw. It wasn't just about the tricks and the flicks and the taking on a player in the middle of the park. He was actually making something happen. I was really frustrated about when he did that 360 because he played the ball. And actually, Manquillo was on that level because he made the run. And he was in. And what I was frustrated about was Manquillo crossed the ball too early. He had another 10 yards to put into the box for, and then play the ball. He could have cut in onto the line and played it back, and he didn't. And there was no one in the box. There were players trying to get into the box. They just needed an extra 5 yards for him to run in, get into the box in a position. So, that would have ended up in a goal, and that's the difference. Saint-Maximin's going to create those moments where he's either going to set up somebody and get an assist, or he's going to be the one that plays the ball that then gets the other person then gets the assist from. But you've got to make sure that the other person does their job. He's done his job by creating the space and playing the ball. The other person's got to do their job, either putting the ball in the net or passing the ball to the guy who's going to put the ball in the net. And that's the difference. See, I can see... I was going to say I can see him playing at somewhere like Man United, and I'm not going to. I shouldn't have said it.
Listen, Pete. No, I'm cutting you there, man. Stop.
90 million.
I personally don't.
Hey, you know what?
Going to leave. I personally don't think he's going to leave. I think he'll at the very least, stay for another season, regardless of the takeover business. But when we get taken over, I think one of the things that they'll do, whether it's in the summer or maybe around October, November time, is I think they'll give him an improved contract. They'll give him an improved on better wages to keep him happy, and they'll give him a long-term deal, a 5 year.
You know what, Pete? Did you see when he broke through and he took that wild shot? He'll get there. That composure will come. But another thing I was frustrated with was like, who's made the run off? Because he's wasted 3 people. Who's going to run into space? Like, they're all running in front of him. It's like, get wide so he can pass it to you. Yeah. And he won't have to take that shot.
The players have been playing with him long enough now. The Almirons, Joe Lintons, and others, they've been playing with him long enough now to know that he's going to have those moments where he's going to beat that man. There's other players in the team that you think, oh, yeah, he's not going to do that, and you wouldn't necessarily make the run. With Saint-Maximin, you know he's going to beat the man 9 times out of 10. So you need to be prepared to make that run, even if it doesn't come off, because like it is going to come off, and you're going to be in a position to get the goal.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of chances in the first half. I think when he switched to the right, he put in a couple of crosses, and Joe Linton just wasn't there. He needed to be there, take the extra couple of yards, 2-3 yards forward, just to nip in that header or just cause a bit more trouble. And I feel like if Gayle was playing, the chances that Saint-Maximin had to put in the box, I feel like he would have put those away. So I think he could really benefit from more playing time, especially with Saint-Maximin playing on the right, because I think his natural game, he's better. I know he's been playing well on the right, but he's more effective on the left for his own selfishness in terms of cutting in and shooting. But if he's playing on the right, and if he's like going off the cuff, taking on the defender, the left back, and just pinging those early balls in, having someone like Gayle up front would definitely capitalise more.
Right, moving on. I want a collective effort on this one from Miggy. Now, I don't want to sound too harsh because it sounds like I'm hating on him all the time, but I feel like I need to see more now. I feel like when ASM's on one, Miggy's just kind of like, he's kind of left to do his own thing, and he sits in the corner. He doesn't take part. And we need them two to be on song together. Not it's the ASM show and Miggy's just kind of, teetering in the corner. I don't know. You talk to me, because otherwise I'm going to sound like a hater in it.
I think with Miggy today he was quiet. I think when he sees ASM's on one, he just lets him go on one, innit? Like, I'll just do my little basics. Bruv, go crazy too. Like, he got into the box. He should have buried that first time. And I feel there was times when he was waiting. There was a time when Asama got a deflected ASM got a deflected the ball deflected off and they both broke. The balls with Iggy, give it to him and just run. And he just because like, what should I do? What should I do? So I feel like he needs to be a bit more greedy, a bit more selfish, a bit more direct. Express yourself. If you're both expressing yourself, the defense on the other team's going crazy.
Yeah, he's very direct. I get your point. He's very direct. And that chance he had when Rose squared it to him, that was his opportunity, but he took a touch on his right foot. He should have just hit it first time.
First time.
But I think if he'd have scored that goal, we'd have been talking about him in a different light. It wasn't the game where he was making the biggest of impacts, but with Miggy, he don't stop running. He works hard. He presses the ball so high. Sometimes he's running beyond Joe Linton because Joe Linton's not pressing as much as he should, and he works so hard for the team, and that should not go underrated. I know, but don't you feel like when he dribbles, I feel like he's got his head down a lot. I don't know if he sees the full picture of the options that are ahead of him. Like, he needs to get his head up a bit earlier when he's dribbling. Yeah, but that's where the manager should be talking to him. And to be fair, when he's had his better performances, he's done that. He's released the ball early. There was the ball, I think, for Joe Linton against Sheffield United where he went through on goal and should have scored in the first half. That's where he released the ball at the right time. I don't think he had the positions really to hurt teams with that dribbling today, but he was around, he was busy. I would have liked to see him in the box more. There was a couple of times where balls were coming into the box and he wasn't quite there. If you're playing in that number 10 position, you need to be supporting Joe Linton getting into the box to create some space. And when he has done that, like against West Brom, he scored goals. So he needs to take the positives out of that. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't his best game, but it wasn't Newcastle's best performance. But he, I would say again, he was a 7.5. He worked well. He worked hard. He linked the play quite nicely, and yeah, he should have had his goal. But he's got more games to prove and show that.
Let's talk about Big Joe. Obviously coming off the back of a decent run. I'm not just saying the Sheffield United goal. Obviously he scored a couple goals before that. Today, he put himself about a bit. Had a chance that he could have put away. Goalkeeper saved it, I believe, in the first half. That's all I can really remember. Apart from that, his hold-up play was better. But overall, obviously, no goals for a forward. And obviously, he's still going to have that 40 million price tag hanging over him. That's what he's judged on. For me, I probably would give him like a 7. But what are you guys saying?
He had his chance. I mean, when Saint-Maximin switched to the right, like he should have, like you said, he needed those extra 2-3 yards just to gamble a little bit. Maybe he's on his back foot too much. He needs to be on his front toes a little bit more, just to just get there. Even if it's just to get a toe on it or something, like he needs to gamble a bit more.
I think his game outside the box was more like a striker today. His hold-up play, the winning the headers, the battle. I mean, it was a battle for him today against Courtney House, who I thought played well for Villa, and Mings. Big two big strong centre backs. I thought he battled really well as that lone striker up there. And he looked more like a striker outside the box in terms of his link play and his movement off the ball. I liked how he was driving into the box early in the second half, and he was really kind of putting them on the back foot. He needs to do more of that, because as we've talked about before, when he gets the ball and he's on the turn and he's running at players, they don't know what to do with him. But it was as Seb said, inside the box. He needs to be hungry. He needs to be more like the goal that he scored. He needs to do that every week. When that ball goes out wide and you've got saint-Maximin or you've got Matt Ritchie or you've got Almiron coming off the left-hand side, your first thought as a striker should be, I need to get into the box. I need to find my position in and around the penalty spot and the 6-yard box to receive the ball. And he needs to learn that. And like I said, it's not his position. It's going to take time. But that part of his game wasn't there today.
Let's move quickly on to the subs before we start talking about Man City going ahead. So obviously Gayle come off the bench, scored. We'll talk about him. Lazaro came on, and then Andy Carroll, who didn't get on the score sheet, but I feel like made a real difference. Obviously, he assisted in the goal. Let's start off with Gayle quickly. Fumbi, Gayle, happy to see him back on the pitch.
Not really. I'm not really bothered with Gayle. Yeah, I'm happy he scored, but when he came on, I wasn't like, yes, Gayle gets in there. I was just like, yeah, okay, what's this about? He scored, but I didn't see anything after that because we were just on the back foot. So it's hard for me to say, yeah, it was so nice to see him, because after the goal, what would you honestly say he did? You know what I'm saying? Andy Carroll, on the other hand, even though, he set up the goal, sometimes the way he brought that ball down, I feel like sometimes we don't give him enough credit. He's a very intelligent footballer. Don't just reduce him to throwing an alley-oop in the air and hoping he slam dunks it. You can actually play it to his feet, and he can actually use his brain. So sometimes we don't respect he's actually a smart player. Because like Pete said, we see Andy Carroll, nice time to go direct. Now he can still pass the ball. Look at the pass he gave Gayle. I didn't see that pass. I was like, what? And if you look at the replay, he looks up. So it wasn't like he just whiffed it. I thought he just kicked it. He looked up. So I feel like with Gayle, yeah, it's nice that he's fit. If he's playing well, I want to see more. But on today, I just feel like he got the goal and he took it well. I don't think Joelinton would have scored that. I really don't. I couldn't believe it. But he played it well.
I don't think he would have scored that. No.
Positive. We'll move on to Lazaro with you, because basically his time is ticking. Like he's got games to play. He needs to earn a contract, whether it's here or Inter Milan. Talk us through it, Pete.
I think he'll start on Sunday. I think he'll start on Sunday. He can't keep coming off the bench. Obviously, he's trying to win himself a deal with us, and obviously he took the loan with us to play football. If he wanted to sit on the bench, he could have stayed at Inter and got football there. So I think he'll be knocking on the door to Bruce and saying, "Give me my opportunity." And I think Bruce will go, "Okay, show us what you can do in the FA Cup quarterfinals." He was playing out off the left. It's not really his position. He did okay. he didn't really do anything that really stood out. 6 for me. I think there was one opportunity he had out wide where he could have drove forward, but instead, like the rest of the team, he cut inside, played the simple pass inside, and that was it really. If you're a player that's wanting to show what you're capable of, when he got that ball and he received it out wide, and I think he was on a one-on-one with the right back, you would expect a player of his ability to say, right, I'm going to take you on, I'm going to make you work, I'm going to show what I'm about, and that's what we need to see. So, and like I say, I do think he'll start Sunday. I think with the question marks with Richie coming off, and I think it might be a potential hamstring, or they're just precautionary, hopefully. I think they'll rest Richie on Sunday and give him the opportunity to show him what it's all about. So it's on him. It's on him. If he gets given the opportunity, he needs to show it. With the time that you had on the pitch, I don't think he was given the opportunity to show it. Wasn't enough time. As I said, he should come on maybe when Carroll did. But obviously Gayle come on and got the goal. So I suppose Bruce has got his arguments to say he made the right decision there. But just go back, just to rewind slightly to Carroll. I believe that he needs to play with Gayle. If Carroll's going to start, I think Gayle needs to play with him, because although Carroll is fantastic at holding the ball up with his feet as well as in the air or with his chest, he needs a runner. He needs a runner in and behind him. There was a couple of times where Shelby had the ball in the middle of the park, or ASM had the ball in the position where he was looking up to play the ball forward, and he literally had Carroll standing next to him, not really busting a gut to make that move forward. And he needs someone like Gayle to make those runs for him, so he can just play within that little hole and be the target man. I think that could be the way forward in 1 or 2 games before the end of the season.
Cool. I'm going to save, quickly I'll just run through Bentaleb, because I just remember there was another substitute. Bentaleb came on for Hayden briefly. Didn't see much of him. I still feel he's got a point to prove as well. His valuation probably dropping down. I'm sure you guys can all vouch for that and say that he didn't have the best performances. And again, he might get a game on Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is, against Man City. So, Seb, I'm saving Andy Carroll for you, because he's your boy, he's your blood brother, he's your saviour. Go on, talk to me about Big Andy, man. Talk to me about Big Kaz.
Yeah, man, he came on, got an assist within how long? Like Fumbi was saying, he's good with his feet. So when it comes to, obviously, and he was actually in the wide position as well at the time. So he had time, he looked up, he got his head up, and yeah, he got an assist. I mean, I'll give him an 8.5 for the rest of the game. He put himself about a little bit. And I was even thinking before in terms of, I've seen him and Gayle, they've combined well. And the fact is he actually got a good 20 odd minutes. So even close to half an hour. So that's good run out time for him. I agree that out of all the other strikers, he's got something that we don't have. And he's got decent link-up play, gets his head up early, putting himself about. The strength of who's going to be there. So I'll definitely factor him in for the Man City game, even if we don't play 2 strikers. I would still be tempted to start him in that game, just for the sake of, we're going to sit back and we're going to need a focal point up there. So I would even consider starting him.
Okay, right. Before we get into the Man City chat, I'm just going to read out a couple comments. So Jono said, I agreed with Emeka last night. City game will be damage limitation. Cheers for that. Gary Nixon said, what's he said? Could be the perfect storm with City. Andrew said, Carroll makes things happen when he's on the pitch. I'd be tempted to start him against City. Marv, shout out Marv. He said, in my opinion, a back 5 is needed against City. I fear Bruce started his cup keeper, Darlow, but hopefully Hayden is fit to play. And then Andrew agrees with him and says, Marvin's got got into a back 5 against City. I think Carroll or Gayle should start as well. So, Man City, David versus Goliath. Can we do it again, boys? I mean, we've done it already before. We beat them.
When did we do it?
We beat them last season, bro.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Just before we signed.
That was Rafa.
Ah.
Yeah, remember we went
Come
1-0
on.
down after about 2 minutes. Remember Aguero scored.
Whether it's Rafa, whether it's the gaffer, whether it's whoever, we beat them. Come on, we beat them.
Yeah,
Come on, positive. Pete, help me out here. Come on, positive.
I personally think we should start Joe Linton, because if you start Carroll, you can't go anywhere. Do you see what I mean? You can't take off Carroll and be like, we're bringing on Joe Linton. That means we're not scoring nothing. So I feel like we should try and keep it tight as much as we can. And if we can get them into the dark, the later rounds of the fight, so to speak, then we can start taking chances. But I don't think we should try and come at City, because they're balling right now. They are balling right now. We should get in their faces, make it a very unpleasant game for them, and then try and bring on some ammunition.
Yeah. Come on, give me some positivity.
The defence for Man City is where we can really hurt them across that back line. So our wingers and our front line are going to need to be on point. The positive thing is that I think Shelby will have the space to exploit that, because City played quite high up on the pitch. What I noticed about the game at Villa today is that, unlike against Sheffield United, Villa played really deep, and I think we exploited Sheffield United even before they went down to 10 men for the fact that they played such a high line. Now, Man City will play a high line, so we've got the pace in and behind to really exploit that, where Shelby could really flourish. And if he's playing those passes in and behind, and he's got Miggy, he's got potentially Lazaro, and saint-maximin running in and behind, that's where we could really hurt the team. Obviously, they're a fantastic side, fantastic footballing side, but we've kept them at bay before. We've kept them at bay before with their top players, with Sterling, with Aguero, who's not playing, with Gabriel Hayes, De Bruyne. We've kept them at bay before. It's going to be a very, very tough ask for us to win that game. But what I would suggest, what I would like to see is a bit of battle, a bit of grit. If we can get to half time and we're still in the game, if we can get to 50, 60 minutes still into the game, anything's possible.
100%. Yeah.
And in the previous Man City games, when we have kept in the fight, even if it's been at 1-0, like I think Seb said, we went 1-0 down after like 2 minutes in the game last season. But we kept in the game and we kept plugging away. We didn't give them a second goal. If we do that, we've got a chance, because all it takes is for us to get a goal, and it just turns the tie upside down. If we're to get the first goal, that could be massive for us, because we could then get men behind the ball. We can make it frustrating for Man City, because regardless, they're just going to play. Even if it's not working, play. And if we can stay solid and really just frustrate them, anything's possible. But you listen to Pep Guardiola's comments today, and he was asked about Chelsea tomorrow. He was asked about Liverpool next week, and he said, not really interested about those games. The game I'm worried about, or the game I want to win, is Newcastle. So that's the worry. The fact that he's saying I want to win. He knows.
Now Pep wants to come with the smoke as well. So now Pep's going to come extra peppy and come with the smoke now. Is that what it's about?
That's the worry, because Pep knows that the league's gone, so he ain't worried about playing Chelsea tomorrow. He ain't worried about Liverpool next week. He'll deal with those games as they come and go. But he wants trophies. He's a cup man. He's won a lot of cups at a lot of clubs, and in particular Man City.
It's the only cup he can win, Pete.
No, but the Champions League's still there.
Basically.
Champions League's still there, but he's taking.
If they're in it.
Well, no, they'll be in it, because they're still in it now. But next season, it's a different question. But I mean, he's looking at winning trophies. He wants to win trophies. So
he's embarrassed that they're 200 points behind Liverpool. He's trying to make up for it.
Yeah, definitely. If he can go and hold 3 cups up at the end of this season to say, I won the League Cup, the FA Cup, and the Champions League, nobody's going to care about the Premier League, because
exactly.
He can throw shade. He can say you only won 1 cup. I got 3.
Exactly.
Yeah, and remember, it's a one-off game as well. We've got a real opportunity to just go for it. Even if we do start like 5 at the back, we can give Danny Rose like an advanced role, and I think even he's got like it's a good motivation for him as well, because he wants to prove that he can play back at the highest level, and he wants to get back in the England side. And if he can prove it at games like this, then he needs to get into Gareth Southgate's thinking. So even if we do play 5 at the back and he gets licensed to bomb on, then who knows? He can get some good passes going to Almiron, Saint-Maximin. And like I'm saying before, if we start Carroll, just ping some balls up to him and play that percentage football, man.
Yeah. Just going to read through a couple of comments. Obviously, we asked, would you make any changes? Marvin said, I would bring in Cher, Lazaro, Yedlin, Carroll, and Gayle in. I'm personally not even keen on Bentaleb, but I think Bruce will start him. I think Paul Dummett can play if fit as well. I don't think Dummett is fit. I'm sure I've seen him tweet out that he's out for the rest of the season, guys. Andrew said Dummett's a good shout as well. As I just said before, he's out. James Fretwell said, good show, lads. Keep up the good work. So shout out to James. Wakey Up People said, hi, guys. Just watch replays. Why was Gayle so pissed off after scoring? Did anyone notice? I didn't see that.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because they ain't been playing.
Maybe he's
like,
thinking,
that was motherfuckers. Remember me?
Yeah, just lack of playing time, isn't he? He hasn't got the minutes. Obviously, he's been injured, etc. And obviously, we've got Man City next game. Like, everyone wants to be involved in that. And he knows there's a good chance he's probably going to be on the bench as well. So
I think it was more relief than pissed off. I think it was like, come on, man. This is what I'm about, you know?
That's it.
Yeah.
Just going back to Marvin's comments, he mentioned quite a few names. So Cher, Lazaro, Yedlin, Carroll, and Gayle. Would you start any of them?
I wouldn't change it that much. I would never change it that much. Nah, fam. We got a basis. I wouldn't change it. That's too much.
I wouldn't start 2 strikers because we'll get picked off in the middle. Like, why do we want to risk De Bruyne and the other holder midfielder like getting comfortable on the ball too early? They'll just start trying stuff, pinging balls in behind our fullbacks. Like, we need to hound them down from early. Like, keep them quiet. Like, for the first 20 odd minutes, don't give like the likes of De Bruyne chances to like pick those long range balls where you can just ping them along the ground. Nah. I wouldn't start 2 strikers. I'd only start 1.
Yeah, I'd only go with 1, to be honest. I think Joe Linton will start purely for his link-up play and his work rate, and then I think it's smart that if the game's going on and if we're in a position where we're still in it, to bring Carroll on, because his physicality against those Man City centre backs, I don't think they'll be able to deal with him. But at the same time, I don't think Andy Carroll's got 90 minutes in him. So that's the argument. Do you start him and take him off at 60, or do you bring him on at 60 when the game's still in the balance and make him have the difference?
Yeah.
But I agree. I agree with one or two others. I think Andrew just put about Yedlin at right wing back. Yedlin's played well against Man City down the sort of the years, and he's dealt with Sterling quite well on that side of the pitch, going pace for pace. So that's an option. I think Shaw will start. I think Fernandes will sit out this game, unless they go in the back 3, in which he'll come into that. I don't want to see Bentaleb on the pitch. Personally, I don't want to see Bentaleb play again. I don't. I just don't. I don't see it. I know he's not played for a long time, but I'm not being funny. He's been training for weeks now, and he was training for weeks before the lockdown, and I'm still not seeing anything that shows me any quality that's any better than what we've already got. You know, for me, he's not in front of Matty Longstaff, who's now back in training and again will be in contention on Sunday. Sean Longstaff's not far away. For me, I don't see Bentaleb in front of those two. So I just find it a bit of a pointless signing. So hopefully he doesn't play. And then it's Lazaro for Richie, I think. I think they'll rest Richie and they'll get Richie ready for Bournemouth next Wednesday. They'll give him a week's rest. So yeah, I see those being the changes. But please, Bruce, do not put Carl Darlow in goal. You are asking for it. 3, 4, 5-0. I don't care whether he's been the FA Cup goalkeeper or not. The guy just needs to. He needs to leave. I'm sorry. I don't rate him as a Premier League goalkeeper. He's a Championship goalkeeper at best. He's been an okay understudy for here and there. But you've got Freddie Woodman, who's had a fantastic loan at Swansea, who's a good up-and-coming young goalkeeper, English goalkeeper that we've got on our hands. I'd much rather him come in and be number 2 next year, but not to start him on Sunday. If you've got Martin Dubravka fit, he starts every game, bar none. Like he's the one. He's the one. He's one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. So you're asking for trouble if he starts Darlow. So I'm hoping that don't happen.
Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up there. So obviously we drew with Aston Villa, but we still ended up with 4 points out of these 2 games. Man City on the weekends on Sunday. So obviously we'll be doing the same thing that we do here, post-match afterwards, but we'll be doing a preview, a proper one, probably the day before on a Saturday. We'll arrange it in the group chat and get back to you guys. But thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching. Take care. Let's watch all the Liverpool game and let them see them claim the title and all the rest of it. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're winning the league. Cheers, guys, for joining me, and see you guys all soon.
See you later, man. See you later, guys.
Okay.